G'day guys and welcome back to Casual Rage. Prepare to start the show, R2. This is where the fun begins. Hello everyone and welcome to Casual Rage 170, where we casually rage out about the topics of the week. I'm sorry I'm late and I'm sorry for the unusual time start. I'll explain in a second. And I just woke up. I went to bed really late last night and I'm still a little bit sleepy, I guess. But I hope you're all doing well. We've got a fair bit to talk about. And we've got 2 hours roughly to get through it all. So we've got some George Lucas to talk about. We've got some Kathleen Kennedy to talk about. We've got some Jon Fabro to talk about. We've also got, obviously, the Bad Batch episode 14 breakdown. And there's obviously a little bit more on the Acolyte and then maybe some Marvel stuff if we've got some time. But how y'all doing? How's your week been? I do have a question for the chat. Are you currently watching anything interesting? I just finished watching Invincible Season 2. And man, I really enjoyed it. It's a real shame that they put a split in the middle of the season. Like they dropped the first 4 episodes and then they go, all right, we're going on a break for what? 6 months, 12 months? I don't even know how long it was. I don't even remember. But however long it was, that was a mistake. They had a fair bit of momentum behind them, especially after season 1. And yeah, season 2 was pretty damn good, if you ask me. It's just a shame that we've got to now wait as long as we have to wait to get season 3, because it did leave it on a fair cliffhanger. And this is the thing, is I don't really want to talk about it too much because I know people fell off. So I want them to actually watch it before spoilers just start coming out. And I'm sure there's already stuff out there, but there is ways to avoid it. Let's see who we've got here in the chat. We've got Dr. Coffin Nails. Fucking hello. How you doing? Star Wars Marvel Purist. Force choke the like button. Yes, do that. But also too, the reason for the unusual start, I'm not gaming at all today. With Flash and Anna and those guys. I am doing this, and then pretty much by the time this stream finishes, I'll be over on Star Wars Marvel Purist channel, and we're going to talk Plagueis. We're going to talk about the Plagueis novel. We're going to deep dive into that bitch, and we're going to fucking break it down because it is one of the most amazing EU books out there. So yeah, go over and subscribe. Any mods in the chat, if you can drop Star Wars Marvel Purist channel link in the chat, that would be greatly appreciated. Lara, yes, that is obviously the first thing that we're going to talk about. Let me say hello to the chat and we'll get into that. I'm not a true believer in it either, and I'll explain. We've got a fair bit to go through with that. Fractured Filter's in the chat. How you doing, Fractured Filter? Always going to come back and watch the replay. OG Star Wars, Alora, good to see you. She's talking about the George Lucas stuff as well. Darth Cisco, Darth Ghostface. How y'all doing? Papa Palpatine's Pizza Padawan. Good to see you. Hello there. Tyranazilla. Place of Power. Good morning. And I saw you commenting on me being late. Yes, I apologize. I really need to find some stability in Casual Rage again. And it was, I'm stupid because where it was 12:30 in the afternoon every week, it was so stable there. And then I had to go and change shit because I want to play video games. Pro Jack fan, good to see you. The Nuisance Bird, also good to see you. Let's take a look. Stream Premium got pushed back. I don't know what that means. Melissa Lord, how you doing? Let's go. Mike Hill. Angelina, good to see you. I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. Fear of FEMA. And I think I've pretty much caught up with most. Star Round 7, good to see you. Jared. All right, we're pretty much caught up. Aunt Jemima is in the chat. Hello. All right, let's. Oh, and Mr. Bantham. I can't not mention Mr. Bantham. All right, let's talk about the George Lucas thing. Let's talk about the George Lucas thing. Click, 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 click. Here we go. All right, so this was something, I believe this only really started from this clip, this Star Wars Theory interview. George Lucas coming back to Star Wars would be an amazing thing. I hope it happens. You can find my interview with Roger Christian on the channel. Always such a pleasure speaking and learning from him. Now, I obviously looked up Roger Carroll. I didn't know, I didn't really know the name. And I don't know if I'm supposed to know the name. But his involvement, Battlefield Earth, Stranded. There's some things in here. There's a couple of things that I've heard of, but not much. So there's some of the credits. He's production designer and set director. So let's watch this clip. And then, I don't know. With me, I always say, and then I'll say what I feel like saying, but sometimes something just sets me off when they've said something. And I haven't really watched all of this. I've just heard about this. And I watched a little bit of this. All right, here we go.
But I think he's coming back, I'm pretty sure now that he's doing a series. I think that they're now bringing him into the fold, from what I hear, because there's a Star Wars live action series coming. And I've got...
Okay, so again, there's a couple of things that I want to point out here. I always say I'll get to the end and I'll pause it and then I'll fucking talk. So I want you to just pay attention to the ways that he says it with the I thinks, right? And things like that come out. And then how much that actually changes in the second half of this clip. Now, look, straight off the bat, I'm just going to say I don't buy it. I don't believe that George would come back. To do what exactly? Let's play devil's advocate for a second here and say that George does come back to do a TV series. That's all he's basically saying. He's going to come back for a TV series. This isn't to come back necessarily to fix it. This is maybe, yes, George might be the best person to come in and try and fix the problems that we've already created, but we're not decanonizing. So he's got to make sense in that. First of all, on a couple of the things that he said, where he said, okay, yeah, it was a while back that he sold it to the white slavers, right? But then, or more recently, there was the one with the school interview thing, the kid asking the questions, or the kids asking the questions. And he said that the original 6 are definitely my movies, my philosophy. And then they've gone off on a different direction. There's been a couple of statements that are very, very similar to that. I just don't buy that he's coming back. How old is George Lucas now as well? Okay, he's 79. He's 79 years old. Do you really think that at 79 years old, he's going to come back to try and help them fix what they've destroyed in his franchise? I just don't buy it. Do you guys? Do you believe that George... I mean, look, don't get me wrong. There's always a possibility that he could come back. I guess. But I just really doubt it. And again, what's he got to do if he does come back?
Star Wars live action series coming, and I've got a strong suspicion that George will have something to do with that.
A strong suspicion now. He thinks now he's got a strong suspicion.
That's what I'm thinking is, and I might be prophesying.
Are you pulling my leg?
He might be prophesying.
That's what I had heard and read, and I don't know from anything apart from I'm prophesying that.
So he's heard and he's read, but he doesn't know other than the fact that he's prophesying that that's what's going to happen. I'd like to know what things you've read and what things you've heard and from whom before I go making a judgment on your prophecy. You know what I mean? Like, it's so blasé and just thrown out there. Now, I don't know if this guy still works for Lucasfilm. I mean, if he's saying stuff like this, you would have to assume that he's still working for Lucasfilm, don't you? That's the other thing too. If he does come back, would he have free reign? And I don't think so. I don't think so because also too, like I said, they've got to retroactively fix what they've done. And I love how, because this comes across as like damage control for me, right? But, you know, it's funny hearing, like, I haven't heard it from his mouth, but I'm sure he's going to say it at some point, that George is going to come in and save Star Wars, right? Based on this rumor now. The thing that gets me is, what is he saving it from? Because from my understanding, the majority of the stuff that's come out, you've enjoyed, you've liked, you've given it high ratings, despite the fact that your rating system means nothing based on your explanation of how you rate shit. What's your reaction to all of this going to be? Don't worry, it brings up Dave Filoni. That might get my blood boiling.
Might happen because you've seen he's been very physically present there. He's been down on the sets and everything. And
so George has apparently been very present there, down on the sets and everything. Why haven't they asked him for his input when he's there? I mean, maybe they have, and this guy just doesn't know that. But what, George is down there like all the time, apparently. That's what I'm getting from what he's saying. You don't think that they'd publicize that as much as possible? Not just put out that one set photo of him holding Grogu from like Mando season 1? You don't think if George was on the set like once a week sort of thing, and that's what I'm getting from this? It's like, oh, take some photos. George Lucas is here. Get it out. Each week. He's coming in each week. Don't even say that he's helping out or anything like that. Let the fans then decide. I guess I don't really want that, because then people use the fact that George is on set as he's giving his what am I saying? He's given his like permission, or he's, thinks that it's all fine.
Dave Filoni has done such an incredible job of being George and bringing back everything that George.
I always say, and Dave gets a lot of flack just as George did, but he
I love how he throws that in there, just as George did. Dave Filoni probably gets more than George ever did.
He is the only sort of the closest thing we have to George there, I think. I think Jon Favreau does a good job too. I don't know.
Yeah, he does.
With a few of the projects there, but
he's fantastic.
There you go. So that's where this whole rumor thing is coming from. I want to again point out that this Roger guy, it's his own prophecy based on apparently George Lucas being on set and some stuff that he's read. I'd like to know what he's read that like all of us can't read. Did you just read something in an article and then that automatically made you assume that George Lucas is coming back? Or have you got like inside information where you've read something? I don't buy it. I just don't buy it. I don't see George coming back. And if he does, this is going to be the funny thing though, right? Is that if he does, he's not going to have free reign to do what he wants. It's going to be a series placed in the middle of the clusterfuck of stories that we've got at the moment, staying in that same era. Maybe they are bringing him back to go back into the past. But this is the thing, right? Too, is don't they have this James Mangold movie that's supposed to be like the Dawn of the Jedi, the like thousands of years in the past? That was my understanding. And I know that there's people out there that are thinking like, oh, maybe he actually said something that he wasn't actually supposed to say. Hence why they haven't announced anything yet or anything like that, and we've got nothing to go on. I don't know. I don't really get that from him, because it's not like he continues talking about it. I mean, this is a 1-minute clip and he continues talking about it. At no point do I think that he's sitting there going, oh shit, I shouldn't have said that. This is what's in his head. This is what he thinks. This isn't knowledge. This isn't understanding of the situation or know what's actually going on. This is him prophesizing what he thinks is going to happen based on what he's seen and read. Okay. I can prophesize that the Acolyte show is going to be woke, absolute piece of shit garbage based on the things that I've seen and read. That's my prophecy for the Acolyte show. This is a big nothing burger that people are going to blow up, and people like Doomcock, right, are going to be like, see, Doomcock was right. It was always in the works, all the way back from 3 years ago when I made up the rumor. And then you know what's really funny is like it'll be like that. Doomcock was right, and then it doesn't happen. And then it's like, but hang on, we told you to take it with a grain of salt, remember? Mr. Bentham for $2 says he read it on Sparrow's Patreon. Yeah, well, that wouldn't surprise me at all. Why you read that trash, Rhino? High Republic is bad for mental health and stability. Man, I honestly, it's so funny that I can't wait for the Acolyte. For all the wrong reasons. Cameron Pasha was wrong. Doomcock was wrong. Yeah. They've been wrong for a long time. It's just too bad that they got given the accolades that they didn't deserve early in the piece, that gave them a bigger platform than they deserve. Riff for $10. Thank you, dude. He says, "Hail Rhino, just sharing some love during a busy day. Keep raging." Thank you, dude. I appreciate that. Yes, I've had a nice, relaxing 2 days off because yesterday was Anzac Day. And hail to all the Anzacs, our fallen soldiers. And thank you to all of them for all their service and everything that they've done and the sacrifices they've provided for us to have, well, I'd like to say the freedom that we're currently got, but it looks like a lot of those freedoms are being taken away by the governments that have been voted in. Anyway, I don't want to get political. But yes, I've had a nice, relaxing 2 days off. It's nice. So yeah, George, I don't buy it. I don't believe it. Stuff like this now, I believe it when I see it. It's the same when they announce new movies, new shows. All right, I'll believe it when I see it. You know, because you just don't know with Lucasfilm anymore. And that brings us straight into the next topic, which is this. And I'm only going to read the headline from this. You've probably seen this going around. You've probably seen a lot of people talking about it. I know Ryan did a video on it and talked about it on his stream. And like heaps of others have as well. But Star Wars boss Kathleen Kennedy is not a woke warrior at Disney. So... And I don't want to stay on this and harp on this for too long because, again, it's a bullshit damage control, damage repair. What am I trying to say? Why am I fucking blanking on these words all of a sudden? It's because I literally woke up and thought, fuck, I need a stream. And I wasn't able to get my head fucking screwed on this morning. Yeah. Are we supposed to believe? Are we supposed to believe that the person that leads Lucasfilm over there at Disney with her Force is Female agenda and t-shirts and all of that, the people that she's basically getting in those doors. I mean, I swear to God, the Star Wars Twitter account is run by one of her woke acolytes over there at Lucasfilm. 100% it is. She put those people there. Charmin obeyed Shinoy. Are we supposed to believe that she had nothing to do with getting Charmin obeyed Shinoy, who is a self-proclaimed activist, and whether it be overtly or covertly puts that activism into her stories and shows? Are we supposed to believe that Kathleen Kennedy really had nothing to do with that and she had to be talked into letting this person work there and make the Rey Skywalker series movie? I mean, you could take it as far as Dave Filoni just because he's a dude, which is debatable. But just because he's a dude, man, he's towed that line. You just need to watch that women's conference thing to know that he's towing the line. What else has she done? Well, she betrayed George. Yeah, fucking oh, she betrayed George. Let me just get this. Darth Ghostface for 7 months says 10 years ago today, the greatest IP ever created died a tragic death when Disney scrapped the EU and began to bastardize George Lucas's baby. Let's take a moment of silence to remember real Star Wars. All right. Moment of silence, ladies and gentlemen. All right, that's good enough. Thank you, Darth Ghostface. Yes, it's true. Lest we forget. We just went through that with Insect there. Okay. Again, so I don't know how we are supposed to view this report that Kathleen Kennedy isn't this woke fucking warrior at Lucasfilm. It's pretty clear what she's done with this franchise. And it becomes even more and more clear when you just see like the amount of it's so ridiculous, but the amount of female, characters that we're getting that just have these abilities or ways to end up having ability. Like the best example is Sabine. The best example is Sabine. I mean, Rey's another great example. But if we're talking, Rey's like in the past at the moment, we're talking like the most recent, like Mary Sue fucking moment in Star Wars is Sabine. I don't care what people say, and I don't care what people fill their heads with their own headcanon. I hate when they use that as an excuse, right? But you can do whatever the fuck you want inside your own head. But to think that, after the training and everything that Sabine did with Kanan in Rebels, and not have unleashed any force ability, Kanan wasn't able to sense anything. Ezra wasn't able to sense anything. It was just purely blade practice for Sabine in that moment. And then people want to, fill their heads with the headcanon that she did some training with Ahsoka, and we didn't see that because obviously they've implied that in the Ahsoka series, so that's got to be a thing. But she never amounted to anything doing any of that training. I don't know why Ahsoka wasted her goddamn time. But then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, just this explosion of maximum force ability power. Out of nowhere. Because she's getting choked like a bitch. Are you telling me, honestly, I mean, that was Dave Filoni, right? That was Dave Filoni. Are you telling me that's not Kathleen Kennedy's agenda? That Dave Filoni is completely on board with, hence why he did it the way he did it? Speaking of Dave Filoni, this was something, and it's pretty relevant too. This was something that's been sort of going around. It got clipped out and just thrown on Twitter, and it sort of started going around. And this was just obviously somebody that retweeted it. There's been a lot of retweets of this clip. But he says, I can't believe I'm saying this, but the TLJ, the Last Jedi throne scene fight choreography is better by a mile, and that shit was terrible, which I agree with. It was absolutely terrible. And I don't think if there could, I don't know if there's anything that could honestly beat how bad it was. But this is definitely very, very close. I'll just mute that for a sec. And just let it play. Like, because the more you watch it, right, the more you see what's wrong with it. And this is at full speed too. Like, there's, it hasn't been slowed down, it hasn't been sped up. That's at the speed that you watch it at. Now, there's another reason why I bring this up, right? And it's because there was that thing that the girl that played X-23, right? And she's in the Acolyte. She came out and said that they're planning on doing a more iconic lightsaber fight than the Duel of the Fates, Phantom Menace fight. And I'm thinking to myself, man, this is Dave Filoni. This is the big guy right now over there at Lucasfilm, right? And this is how badly he did. Do you honestly think, chat, that they can even come close to the Duel of the Fates fight? I certainly don't. And this is just one small piece of choreography from this fight that's bad. There's multiple other parts of this fight that are actually really bad, choreography-wise. The way that it looks. So sloppy. It's all right. I was late too because I was sleeping. You didn't really miss much. We talked a little bit about the George Lucas returning to Star Wars thing. We talked a little bit about Kathleen Kennedy not being the woke warrior that she is. And now we're just talking a little bit about Dave Filoni and basically the choreography of their fights. Let's think about it for a second here, chat. Have Disney Lucasfilm, all the way back from the sequel trilogy, done a good, let's just say a good fight of any kind? It could be fights with just blasters. It could be a lightsaber fight. Any fights. Like, I'm thinking, okay, in Obi-Wan Kenobi, no, there's no good fights in that. They're still really bad. The first time when they match off and Vader starts burning Obi-Wan on the coals and then she ignites the flag, like all of that stuff again, like that was stupid. The end of that was stupid. Where you get Obi-Wan doing his Jesus moment with the rocks, the boulders, and Vader saying, "Are you following me?" or whatever it was. Those fights are horrible. Book of Boba Fett. What? We get the spinning dude. Pew, pew. I would have done the complete spin on my chair, but then my headphones would have wrapped around my neck and I'd probably die. I know that there's people out there that would like that. So you get the spinning dude in Boba Fett. There's no real good fight scenes in Boba Fett. There's no real good fight scenes in Mando either. What's like, I'm just trying to think. Like the climax of all of them, people would argue maybe the Luke Skywalker thing, but nah, that's just garbage. And I wouldn't count, in Rogue One, I wouldn't count Vader's throne room scene as a choreographed fight. You know what I mean? We're talking about the choreography here because this is choreography, right? The throne room fight scene is choreography. Vader walking down a hallway and swinging the lightsaber around and doing some twirls and doing some chokes and stuff like that. Yeah, maybe there is a bit of choreography in the sense that, you know, all right, now choke the guy. All right, now I'm going to choke the guy. You know, that sort of thing. But with swinging a lightsaber, you can impose the blaster shots to match wherever you're swinging the lightsaber. So to me, that doesn't really count as a choreographed fight like these ones. And look, the Darth Vader hallway scene, it's good, I guess. But we all know, I think now, why it's there. It's because they needed something like that. They needed a big climactic moment for the audience to go, well, because could you imagine if that wasn't in there? Imagine if that wasn't in there, how you'd feel at the end of that movie. Because it comes pretty much right at the end. So when you're leaving the theater and everything, you're still on that high from seeing Vader just unleash a little bit. But again, I want to remind everyone, this is Dave Filoni. He doesn't even care enough to get like the choreography right. How many takes do you reckon they did on this? And this was the best one? This was your best take? Darth doesn't do much. Yeah, no, he doesn't. You know, you get to see him have that interaction with, what's his name? Oh, man. Krennic. There's that interaction he has with Krennic, but that's about it. So, yeah, I don't see how anyone over there, especially Leslie Headland, could even come close to matching up against the Duel of the Fates when Dave Filoni can't even get Sabine to look good wielding a lightsaber. Let's watch it again. Let's watch it one more time. Oh, it's like, hang on, let me get to my marker. It's so horrible. It's like, I'm going to flash my lightsaber in front of your face. You see that? Like right here, this swing up here, I'm going to flash it in front of your face, come around behind you. Flash? Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, holy shit, this is bad. Yeah, fucking... I noticed this stuff when I watched it. I'm pretty sure if you were to go back to that episode and my review of it, I mentioned something about it. So ridiculous. All right, and I don't know how much to take out of this because this rumor comes from YouTube. But Jon Favreau out at Star Wars claims rumor. Who? I mean, I don't buy into the rumors much. It's the same thing with this George Lucas thing. I'm like more, I'll wait until I see it. If I see it, then I'll believe it. But like, this could just be Doomcock again. In fact, you know what? I got some time. I knew it. I fucking knew it. Comes from here. Fucking Doomcock, man. Second last video that he did 3 days ago. Jon Favreau quits Star Wars. Latest rumor suggests he has had enough. Where? With Filoni. Oh my god. Oh my god, that's so funny. He's had enough with Filoni now. Civil war between Favreau and Filoni. Wow. Oh, wow. Good timing. Yeah, good timing. And he drops 5 gifted memberships. Lethal. You didn't have to do that. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Let's see. Is this going to catch up for me? Oh, man, that's so funny. Oh, man. All right, so those 5 gifted memberships went to Soul Assassin, Galadorn, I think that is, Papa Palpatine's Pizza Padawan, Place of Power, and did I miss one there? Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where's the 5th one? It's not there. Well, thank you, Lethal. Appreciate that, dude. Oh, man. How funny is this, though? We've got to go back to this. This is hilarious. How long is the video? It's 8 minutes. Do you guys want to watch a Doomcock video? We'll watch it. We'll watch it once we do Seal of the Week. We'll watch this one. I was going to watch a Grizzy video. I'm sorry, Grizzy. But I've got to watch this video now. I was on Grizzy's channel yesterday too, guys, if you didn't know. Good dude, man. Good dude. Good content. Deserves the success that he's getting out of the channel. It's great. It's great. Yeah, I see you all saying no, but like deep down, you're all saying yes. Deep down, you're all saying yes. I reckon we can have fun with this one, man. I'd rather have the Grizzy vid, not Doomcock. Man, don't give Doomcock views, man. It's 1 view on a 74K viewed video. Like, I know what you're saying, and I don't want to either, but I kind of want to laugh at this video, man. This guy's gone from, like, saying that Kathleen Kennedy's gone. We're going to get the announcement at fucking Celebration. He's gone from the civil war between Kathleen Kennedy, Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni to what? Kathleen Kennedy's got no power on set or anything. To they've now got their separate factions, and this is Kathleen Kennedy content and Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau content. To now, Jon Favreau's done with Dave Filoni. Like, it is kind of funny. It's kind of funny. And see, like, as much as I want to watch this video, if I don't watch it with you guys on stream, I'm not going to watch it. I'm not sitting by myself and watching this video. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We're not there yet. Oh, man. Yeah, so that's where that rumor comes from. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. Especially if George Lucas is coming back. You think that Jon Favreau is going to bail with this? George Lucas is always on set. He's always there. Like, no, man, there's so much that if you actually look at it, it just doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. Jon Favreau's out. I thought he quietly exited the building after Mando season 3. It was so different from the way the first 2 seasons felt, in my opinion. I disagree with that too, because the first 2 seasons is like the Force Awakens of the television shows. And the problem was that at that point in time, the main crux of the Civil War rumor was out there. There was a lot of people that were believing that there was 2 factions and that John and Dave were going to come in and fix it, and the Mandalorian, and that's what gave people like this false hope. So I think people were still watching those through the lens of, this isn't the destroyed version of Star Wars. This is the better version of Star Wars. Favreau is not the savior of Star Wars. The Mandalorian is overrated, nostalgia baiting trash. It is, and especially the second season. Especially the second season with all the cameos and then the Luke Skywalker moment. Big time. And people want to say it was the Gina Carano thing that like destroyed the momentum for the Mandalorian. Look, I don't deny that the Gina Carano thing definitely played a big role. I don't like the fact that that's what made people completely give it up, because they should have seen the problems. They should have seen the problems that were there within the show. And instead of seeing those problems, they decided to put those on the back burner, say, maybe we might get answers later. Maybe they didn't even ask the question at all. But despite what they did, they ignored the problems. And then when they fired Gina Carano, it was like, well, this is the last straw. It's like, I like Gina, but really, did it have to be that her getting fired made you see that that's actually shit? Star Wars Marvel Purist for 5-month member chat says, Rhino, voice of reason. Yeah. Grift theory. Get your merch. Grift theory. Did they even end up doing merch for Grift theory, even though it's not happening anymore? I'd like to think that my video had something to do with it. I don't think it did. It only got 5,000 views. It was a good video for my channel anyway. 5,000 views. It was a good video. But, in that video, I was saying, Star Wars theory, you better stop doing this before you make yourself look really stupid to the point where it's irredeemable. And then like the next Grift theory, they announced like they're not doing it anymore. He made himself look so stupid. I'm taking this down. This isn't true at all. It's not true at all. I took down Grift theory myself, man. It was me. It was all me. Oh, God. I'd like to think so. No, but I do wonder. I do actually wonder how that came about. Because there was a couple of streams there in a row where, like, I know Mauler. You don't get to see Mauler, but you can almost... If you've watched Mauler long enough and you guys probably know this too, you can almost see his facial expressions. Especially if you know how he feels about a certain topic, right? You can almost see his facial expressions without seeing his facial expression. And I swear there was the one where Theory was talking about how his ranking system isn't based on, like, you could almost see the smirk that came upon Mauler's face when he said that, in like complete confusion of like, what are you talking about? But then that one that I reacted to, like, it makes me wonder. It does make me wonder whether or not, like, even Ryan was sitting there, and I swear he was thinking to himself, what are you talking about? Like, how can you say that? I mean, I don't know how he could say a lot of the things that he was saying about how much, Dave Filoni, he thinks Dave Filoni's the key and all of that sort of thing, after all the shitting on Dave Filoni stuff that they did. Lethal for $5 says people loved when CGI Luke Skinwalker walked into the room. Gina got fired, and then the same people always thought Mandalorian was overrated. Yeah. I like the flags. Thanks, man, for the flags. Trans flags. Trans. Is that supposed to be a trans, like, male, female, and then, like, something else thing? Thanks, Lethal. But yeah, 100%. 100%. Ryan Kennel is 10 times smarter than Disney Seal Theory. Sorry, yeah. Oh, that was definitely evident. When you get those two on stream together and they talk about Star Wars, it's so evident that Ryan's probably the most knowledgeable person that I've ever met or known when it comes to Star Wars. And I will say it's a very close second by that man, Lethal Lightning, that obviously doesn't give a fuck now about Star Wars, which is sad. I view that as sad. We lost one of the good ones with Lethal. But I know why he did it. I know why he gave it up. And he was, man, early days of just getting rid of everything. No, Star Wars isn't for me anymore. And it hasn't been for me for a long time, but I'm just too retarded to give it up. Oh, Tim is another one. Yeah. Tim, OG Star Wars, definitely those two. But I still put Ryan at the top. Ryan knows his shit. And I'm not saying like Tim doesn't know his shit and Alora doesn't know her shit. But I don't know. I always see Ryan making the corrections for people. Anyway, I'm happy that I was, let's just say, a contributor at Griff Theory being taken out. And I actually, like, even though I was telling Theory not to do it, like he shouldn't be doing this stream, I kind of did enjoy them because at the end of the day, it was sort of Mauler and Ryan saying to Theory, like, what I want to say, but I'd say it angry, whereas they say it, you know what I mean? They can say it where at least Theory will listen to them, but then he just goes off on one of his fucking, yeah, but Dave Filoni. Fucking weird. It's fucking real weird. Lethal Lightning for another 5. Man, what happened? You get cashed up or something? I'd be like, what? It'd be like saying I never Snyder DCEU, never liked. Some people saying Mando was always bad. Get myself there. Revisionist history, go, bro. Yeah. The thing that gets me is that, again, it was the Gina Carano thing that then made people start to turn that corner. Now, I know that there were people out there that always said like Mando was shit. It's like, especially Mauler. But see, Mauler sees a lot more in the story and the characters than even I do, right? I see that stuff, but like then with the tracking fobs, for example, right? I always sort of come back to those sorts of things because, yeah, okay, the story's pretty bad, the characters are pretty bad, and the way that everything sort of rolls out, there's inconsistencies. But then with the new lore stuff that they're actually creating, the new devices, ships, this, that, whatever they bring to the table, they're actually doing damage within the canon with those things as well. And they're the things that Mauler doesn't, necessarily pick up on. I don't think I've ever heard Mauler once ask, how does the tracking fob work? Or how is it tracking? What is it that they're tracking? Now, I could be wrong. He might have mentioned it and I just haven't seen him say that. But it's that, yeah. He views the story more so than the elements that are brought in like that. Rhino, what the hell is an Australian IPA? Mate, is that like a beer? I have no idea. The Institute of Public Affairs. Man, I don't know. I'm not smart enough for that. I'm sorry. Oh, really? Then I have no idea. I'm not a beer drinker. I'm sorry. I can't help you with that. But thank you for the super chat. No beer style. All right, I'm moving on. Yeah, I have no idea, man. I have no idea. It's so funny. I used to stream with the Geek Blend, and he used to love his beers and stuff, and he used to talk about IPAs and this and that. No, man, I have no idea. I have no idea. All right, let's go on to this. We'll do this, and then we'll do the Bad Batch breakdown. I need to make sure I've got enough time to eat something before I go on Star Wars Marvel Purist channel as well, which is in an hour and 15 minutes, by the way, guys. Hour and 15 minutes. I should be over there, and we're going to talk Plagueis. All right, let me bring this up. We've got to get through some of this stuff. So, the Acolyte creator, Leslie Headland, confirms Venestra Rowe will wield her lightsaber whip in the show. The funny thing is it's actually not called a lightsaber whip. It's called a light whip. Venestra's lightsaber is purple. Okay. And she was able to alter it as a 16-year-old and turn it into a light whip. At least she called it a light whip there. Okay. So what? She had a lightsaber and then turned it into a light whip? Is that how making a light whip works? This is where I do need somebody like Ryan or Lethal or Tim or Alora to answer that for me. So she had a lightsaber. It was purple. And at 16, she was able to turn it into a light whip. I didn't think that that's how it worked. And the only person at this point in time that I've read or know of that uses a light whip is what's her name? From the first Bane book. Why am I blanking on it? Chat, help me. Bob Chapek. Githany. Thank you. From Githany. That's the only person that I know of to use a light whip so far. And there's not much in that. We get a little bit of talk about the light whip with the lightsaber master. I can't remember his name now off the top of my head. But yeah, like that's not the way that he explains it isn't the same as what I'm reading here. But this is the thing, though, again, is that Leslie Headland doesn't care about the law. She doesn't know the law. And that's going to be so evident in this show. And I think that's what's going to make it so good. Kasim, that's the one. Man, I love that fight between Bane and him near the end of, well, not, it's probably late middle of the book. Mike Hill for 5 says, I found a video. Someone explains tracking fobs. I tagged it to you on Twitter. Man, I must have missed it. Dude, DM that to me. That's something that maybe we can watch on a Casual Rage. I'd love to hear somebody's explanation. The one thing that I wonder is how much headcanon is he going to put into it? All right, let me bring this up. Thank you, Mike, for the $5. And I must have missed it. But for sure, DM that to me and we'll watch it. Not today, but we'll watch it maybe next week. Where am I going? We want This is a Bad Batch. Oh, there it is. I just posted it. All right, cool. Thank you very much. Season 3. Okay. I do want to say the last 2 episodes of The Bad Batch have been, I feel like it is the calm before the storm. They've been a little boring, a little disjointed as well. And moving. That's better. Okay. Yeah, a little disjointed. And we've got 1 episode left. We've got 1 episode left for them to close this story in a satisfying way. Now, look, to do this in a satisfying way, I don't think that they've got the capability to do that. They've opened up a lot of mystery boxes through this season. I don't really want to say the entire series because, you know, the way they closed off the first 2 seasons, I say, fine, I guess. There wasn't really too much that people were asking a lot of questions about. But in this, they've opened up a lot of questions, a lot of mystery boxes, and are we going to get answers in 1 episode? 1 last episode. And those mystery boxes are things like, this is a minor one and it's a very small one, but that clone assassin, again, it was thrown out there because it did the same thing. And I mentioned this in my videos as well for my reviews for this, but they pretty much put that character out there a bit like the Marok guy from Ahsoka, you know, and he just gets cut in half and he's a fart in the wind. He's a nobody. But it got everybody speculating and talking about who it could be. And this has done that with a lot of people think that it could be Tech. And then there's a lot of people that think that it could be Cody. The other thing to remember is that we did have that cameo from Wolf, and Wolf let him go. So I'm wondering if Wolf plays a part in this final episode as well, because you got to remember that Wolf ends up with Rex in Rebels. You got to remember where characters are in all different fucking times. Let me just hit this really quickly. Sister of Bacon, thank you for the $2, says, did they kick you out of the Helldivers crew? No, they didn't. I needed to make sure that Casual Rage happened. And after this, I'm going on to Star Wars Marvel Purist channel to talk about Plagueis. We were supposed to do it last week, but I ended up having an internet sort of appointment with a technician and everything. So we had to move it to this week. So that's kind of why I'm not playing Helldivers today with the guys. I didn't get kicked though. But it sort of worked out okay because Flash was saying that he couldn't do it either. Where was I? The mystery boxes. So, Rhino hates Super Earth. Wait, you're talking about Plagueis? Hell yeah. Yeah. Chat, mods, please drop the link to Star Wars Marvel Purist channel so that people can go over there. We'll be over there talking Plagueis. So yeah, there is the mystery box of who that person is, but again, that's a minor thing. We've got the mystery box of Project Necromancer. I mean, we've had that mystery box for a while now, but we just don't seem to get any answers. We seem to get more teasers, constant teasing of like what it could be, but we never really get any answers. And I don't know whether or not we're going to get any answers with this, because at this point in time, Project Necromancer was Moff Gideon giving himself the Force, right, through his clones, which I don't think that that's done and dusted yet. I don't think they killed him at the end of season 3. The little knee slides. So there's that mystery box with this. Obviously, that all culminates into the mystery box of why Omega is so important and why her blood is so important. Whose blood are they mixing with Omega's blood that does have the midichlorian count? Is it Palpatine's blood? Is it Yoda's blood? Is it Anakin's blood? Is it Luke's blood? Hang on. No, it couldn't. It can't be Luke's blood. Mandalore. No. It can't. No. In Bad Batch, it can't be Luke's blood. In Mandalorian, it could be Luke's blood. Because you got to remember, Project Necromancer is around from before the OT to well after the OT. So something's got to happen to this part of Project Necromancer for it to stall it. Maybe they blow up Mount Tantus. I don't know. But see, you see, this is the other thing too, is to create clones that are Force sensitive. Thrawn had to use the Isilamiri, or Isilamari, however you want to say it, to be able to do it, right? He put them around the pods, the clone pods, to be able to make a Force-sensitive clone. There's a lot that goes into it. But for them, it's just, nah, we'll just mix some midichlorian blood with the host's blood, and that'll be fine. Anyway, a heap of mystery boxes that they still need to try and answer by the end of this series, and they've got one episode to do it. So we start off with the Bad Batch crew. They're obviously attached to the hull of the science ship, and they're basically coming up with a plan of how they're going to do this. And Rampart, I think his name is, tells them it's not going to work. Like, they're going to detect the ship, and the plan that they come up with, I can't remember exactly what they say that they're going to do, but they find out, Hemlock finds out before they arrive that someone snuck into that spaceport at Coruscant and got the information and left that ship, that shuttle, left at the same time as the science vessel. So Hemlock automatically assumes that he's going to have a problem on his hands once that science vessel arrives, right? So he sends out fighters, and as soon as they get there and detach, they're under attack, right? Hemlock shuts down the base, and like there's almost an evacuation, not an evacuation order, but like when the base gets put on lockdown, it's almost like the personnel need to be in a certain place. So a lot of the people that are watching over Omega, I should bring this up actually. A lot of the people that are watching over Omega and stuff like that leave the room, right? So it starts off, this is where we started off. They broke off. Hemlock finds out about the fact that they're coming, sends out the things, and then it cuts to this, and they're under attack. There's some rumbles that go on, right? So they're being chased through all of this. They've got to detach from the shuttle and like almost crash into the brush, into the forest. And this was something that I broke down in in my video. And this is where like they start losing people like me. Yes, it is a cartoon. Yes, it is animated. I guess maybe they could push the boundaries of what is realistic and what's not. I mean, fuck, they're traveling really quickly. They're swinging down on their cords, and they get close to the ground, and then they unclip themselves when they're traveling at speed. You don't think that they're going to cop injuries from that? Well, they don't. So yes, pushing the boundaries of reality, I guess, in an animated show, okay, I guess you could do that. But there's something that happens here that really just like, how did that happen? How did that happen? So let me just so this is Crosshair and Wrecker. Okay. Let's talk reality for a second. They'd be dead. I'm surprised they didn't hit a tree, right? It was convenience and luck that made that happen. But you saw him unclip the thing from his belt, right? Now let's skip ahead to Rampart and Hunter. They're doing the same thing, right? So Rampart yells, "My thing is jammed," right? Hunter shoots the motor that the cord is jammed in, and just somehow, some way, this clip that you see, that I'm so glad I stopped on that freeze frame, on that shot. That clip right there just so happens to unclip itself. It's not even there anymore. Wait! The cable's gone! I've got to play it again for you. I can't slow this down, can I? Settings? No. Damn. He shoots the motor, not the belt, nothing like that. Gone. Gone. And this is the thing. It's not like I watched that a million times over. I noticed it. I noticed that the first time watching it, and I had to go back and make sure that I didn't see it wrong. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, call it a nitpick, call it whatever the fuck you want. It's legitimate. It disappears. It's like the disappearing dagger. And why does it happen like that? Because it needs to for convenient purposes. We can't write it correctly, so we'll just make it happen. We'll just write it that way. So anyway, Hemlock wants the science ship basically searched, completely searched. All the soldiers scanned everything, right? He wants to make sure that there's no one on there. And the other thing too that you've got to remember is that Echo is on this ship. He just happens to basically get out because he steals a stormtrooper's armor, gets out through the droid pod that he got into the ship through, and just sneaks around the outskirts of the hangar and basically gets into the base like no problems whatsoever. It makes me go back and wonder why they didn't all just go. It's so silly. In the previous episode, Echo says, like, I'm the only one that can get on that ship. Now, by him saying that, I thought that he had some way that he could use the droid parts that he's got to scan in and give him clearance, right? Add in an additional soldier with a, ST number, this, blah, 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 and that's the number that he gives, and then that's, you're allowed on board, right? That's what I thought he was going to do, but no, he still sneaks on board. He gets in through the droid chute, Why couldn't they all do that? Then they would all be on the ship and they would all be on the base right now. Anyway, so they're going through they're trying to make their way to Tantus, to the mountain. You got to remember, this is the second last episode as well. So that's Echo, and he gets a droid hand to put on where the droid part is, right? And he just gets out. Like he just gets out. It's so easy for him. He just sneaks around. Now, this is the thing. Like, she says to the kids that they've found me, and they're like, "Who's found you?" She's like, "My brothers." That's so funny. I said it at exactly the same time in my reaction. Right? And she's feeling the rumblings going on. And because she sees all the science officers that are always watching them because of the lockdown thing, a lot of them have gone out. The only one that's left is the chick that was originally skeptical, the original science chick that's like skeptical of Omega and like she really seems like she's the one that's on board with like what the Empire's doing here. So Omega's like, I need to see what's going on. I need to basically scout out what's happening, and I'm never going to get a better chance than this, right? In this moment, if I can get to the right bit here, she walks into her room like she did last time, right? But last time, the science chick who was observing over the top saw her walking into her room, thought she's going to go down and inspect, and Omega was able to get those bricks back in time before she got to her room, right? Now, Omega does this trek from this center room to her room when the science chick isn't necessarily looking. She's looking at some data pad with a droid or something like that, right? Like there you go. But the thing is as soon as she turns around and notices that Omega's not in that center room, what do you think she's going to do? She's going to want to find Omega. And this is the other thing that makes it stupid, that they don't have cameras in every fucking room. And they don't have mics set up, like audio set up in every single room, so that they can always monitor, see, and hear. I mean, what's the point in them obviously being able to be in this room above them, watching them the whole time without having any audio or any security system visually set up in each room? It's stupid, right? So as soon as she turns around and notices that Omega's not in that center room, what do you think she's going to do? The exact same thing that she did last time. Walk down in there and check it out. But this is where it gets even dumber with what comes next. Hang on a second. Let me just hit this real quick. $5 from Mike Hill says, if she knew the Bad Batch were there, then she just needs to stay put, but she has to be the brains of the group. 100%. They've found me. So what does that mean? That means I need to continue trying to break out to possibly maybe get put under more. Like if she gets caught, she's going to put under more quarantine, more watch. Maybe they will start putting cameras in. It's so silly, right? That's so true, Mike. All she needs to do is stay put. Even though Emery makes it clear that, that Echo isn't going to get very far without Emery's help. Yeah, why aren't they wearing tracking devices that tracking fobs can track? So anyway, Ahsoka goes into the room, right? And she starts removing the bricks from the wall, placing them on the ground. Look, you can see what she's doing right there, right? Why is this? So that now she can climb up into that cavity in the wall and find something. The purpose of this is to get intel on what's actually going on. She knows that her brothers have now found her because there's explosions going on and there's rumblings in that room. But the purpose of what she's doing right now is to find out, get some intel on what's actually happening, right? So so she's inside the walls. Bad Batch guys are still trying to find their way to Tantus. Echo is still currently on the ship. She's still rummaging through the walls. That's right. They come across this big beast thing because Rampart lays on it. And then he runs away. Rampart runs away, right, from the Bad Batch guys. The Bad Batch guys can't just run away because this thing will chase them. Rampart trips over and he gets taken by the Imperials. That's the last we see of Rampart. Now, we cut back. Now, Omega's been in the wall now this whole time. We've skipped forward a fair bit from when she first went into the wall, which is... Well, I think I've gone too far back there. Yeah, so around here. Right? So in that time, we've seen the Bad Batch crew trying to make their way towards them. We've seen Echo just getting as much intel off of the ship as possible and then be attacked by a big dinosaur bear. And then it cuts back to the kids in the room, right? And they keep... The thing is that they look suspicious as fuck. Because also, too, Omega said, if something happens, I need you to stall her. I need you to stall them, right? They don't know what the fuck they're doing, these kids, right? But then it's time for them to get their blood taken. Now, I just want to put this in perspective for a second. This chick here, the science chick, and the droid were up in the observation room, right? Talking, had their back turned to the kids. Before she goes down into that room, she would turn around, see the kids in the room, see that Omega isn't in the room, and from where she's standing, can't see her in her bedroom. What do you think, especially based on her reaction the last time she saw Omega walking to her room by herself when the other kids were in the middle? Based on that, what would you expect this science chick to actually do? I'll give you two options here. Would she immediately walk into Omega's room to make sure that Omega is still there, based on the fact that she can't see her anywhere? Even when they're walking back to their rooms, Omega isn't in that middle room. Or would she just go on with her day like it's normal and start doing the tests on some of the other kids in the order that maybe she does normally do it in, and then just wait to see if Omega's in her room when she's ready to do Omega's test? Well, I think you know, based on how I'm talking about this in regards to which one she does and which one she doesn't do. She walks into the room, right? And instead of going straight to Omega's room, which is here, it's next to this chick's room, right? It's over here. So the first one that she goes to is the young kid that's always carrying around the baby Jedi thing, furry goat thing. She goes to this kid's room first and does her test. Walks around almost like this, right? Instead of walking through, she must walk all the way around to go to this kid's room next, and then goes to Omega's room.
It will pass.
She says, I'm still hungry. She's trying to stall her, right? That's Omega's room. Oh, man. I want you to think about this again. She's up on the observation deck. Omega notices that this is the best chance that she's going to have because there's so many less personnel that are up in that observation deck, and she's got her back turned. So she goes off to try and do her thing. As soon as she turns around and notices that Omega's not there, and even now, once she's done this first test, let's say, and the other two kids are standing in their doorway, is that not the biggest eyesore you've ever seen? And she can't see her sitting in her bed, sitting on that bed thing that they've got. Omega's still in the wall. She still hasn't found. She's just now found something to report back on. She hasn't got any intel in regards to how exactly they've got an exit route through this, right? The only thing that we see Omega see is the Zillow Beast under guard, right? Being zapped by the thing that can keep it at bay. That's it. That's it. Guard there, operating the machine. So the entire purpose of what we understood that she was saying in regards to going into this wall cavity and finding out, getting some intel and finding out what's going on is honestly just putting those kids at risk, putting herself at risk, and being that she knows now that her brothers are there because she felt the rumblings of battle going on. Putting at risk the fact that maybe they've got a chance of getting her out of the vault. But if they maybe, find that Omega is doing what she's doing and then having to put her in a more secure location, it's putting the entire thing at risk doing what she's doing right now. So this is her walking back from doing that green kid. Omega's is the next one over, and then there's the pink kid next to that. Goes straight over into that room. Like, this character in the very last episode was, noticed Omega walking to her room, went immediately down there, immediately into Omega's room and didn't like an inspection. But she hasn't spotted Omega for like 10, 15 fucking minutes. And the last thing that she does is go into Omega's room to see if she's in there. So she tries to stall her as well. Omega's now making her way back. She says that she doesn't feel well. And then this kid, this is so dumb as well. This kid in here, the pink kid, tried to stall her by saying that she doesn't feel well. The other kid tried to stall her by saying that she's still hungry. This kid jumps out of his room, which is Omega's the next room on the list.
Can I go next?
And then he asks if he can go next. So she stops.
Wait your turn, SP32.
Says that and walks into Omega's room. I'm just going to skip to find that she's just sitting there on her bed. Put the tiles back into place. She got back in time. Why? Because they had to write other characters to be stupid. Other characters to change the kind of person that they were from the very last episode that we saw. It's so dumb, man. I can't even begin to tell you. So this is Echo. Gets caught by Emery in the room that they do that blood testing in.
Echo. That's your name, isn't it?
And I was like, how does she know that? And then she explains here.
Omega talked about you all.
And Omega talked about them. And this is where Emery says to Echo, Echo's like, how can you be a part of this? You're a clone. And I almost laugh at that point because, again, female clone of Django. And then she's like, well, we can help get them out. but you're not going to be able to do it without my help. And I think that's pretty much where the episode ends. Oh, it cuts back to Omega telling them that she's now got a plan. Oh my God, this episode was dumb. And not only was it dumb, but it was completely disjointed, changed the way characters would act. It took you completely out of the story because of how the conveniences of things happening, right? Like even the Rampart thing that I showed you at the beginning where the belt just disappears so that he can fall and land in Hunter's arms. Sounded gay as fuck. But this is what they do, right? Because none of the Disney Star Wars shills, seals, whatever you want to call them, actually sit there and actually pay attention to this and ask those questions. You know, when that science officer chick is walking through this center bit and doing the testing on the kids, there would have been Disney Star Wars seals sitting out there that were on the edge of their seat. Oh my God, is Omega going to make it back in time? First of all, it is that predictable that of course Omega is going to make it back in time. And you can tell by the way they wrote the science officer chick. Immediately, as soon as you see the science officer chick walking into this room that they're in right now, and she doesn't immediately go to Omega's room, removes all stakes of Omega being caught. It removes all stakes from Omega being caught. You can almost just sit back. There's no suspense, nothing. They try and give you the suspense because they try and play that music over the top of it. But again, the characters are acting so dumb and so unlike what a person would act like that it removes all fucking stakes. And Omega's just got to win every time. She didn't get the intel that she originally went looking for. All she saw was a Zillo beast. What, she's going to release that Zillo beast so it destroys Mount Tantus from the inside out? Or either that, or it will get to the point where the Bad Batch crew are the actual ones that find her and break her out. But as they're breaking her out, she's got this, her conscience is so played on so much that she can't leave a poor Zillo beast being tortured like this, that we've got to save everyone in the mountain. And that's going to be the catalyst for what actually puts a hiatus, you could say, or a pause on Project Necromancer until we get to the Mandalorian Necromancer stuff. The project gets rebooted again, something like that. Because something's got to happen here for Project Necromancer to stall to the point where even in the Mandalorian, we still don't necessarily have a successful Project Necromancer, or not that we know of. Hey, Scott, how you doing, man? Long time. Everyone has to be a hero. No, not everyone. All the female characters, and this is another thing that takes me back to that Kathleen Kennedy not being woke and shit like that. Bullshit. And Dave Filoni as well, Jon Favreau, they're all toeing the line, man. But no, all the female characters need to be heroes. All the female characters can't be rescued. You know, I mean, Omega said it herself. She's already broken out of Tantus once. She can do it again. And she's going to do it again, she said. She's the Rey of Bad Batch, 100%. But again, they remove all stakes from this show by making the characters act stupid. Why didn't she stay put? Why didn't she stay put? Like what Mike Hill said in his super chat. So dumb. So dumb. And that's where the episode ends. So the Bad Batch guys haven't even yet made it to Tantus. The one guy that they had that might have been able to help them in a tight bind when it came to the Empire, Rampart, has been now captured by the Empire, probably going to be taken back to Hemlock, and Hemlock is either going to torture the shit out of him, which I don't know if they'd go that far, but they'd probably just have Hemlock ask him a question and he'll answer it, no problem whatsoever. Right? Bad Batch crew haven't even made it to Tantus. Echo is in Tantus, and he's probably going to get helped by Emery, and Omega still keeps pushing the boundaries of possibly getting caught and possibly making things worse for whatever reason. I'm still expecting Omega to be Force sensitive. Still expecting something like that to happen. A lot of these characters have plot armor, Rhino. It's not just the female. That's true. That's true, but it seems like a lot of the female characters get a lot more. I mean, you look at Sabine being stabbed by a lightsaber. You look at Reva being stabbed by a lightsaber twice, right? No stakes for these characters. You know, everything just happens for them and it happens perfectly, and there's never any real like conflict, stakes, or even like simple character development with the female characters specifically. I reckon that Crosshair throughout the entire series, but also too in just this season, has had more character development and more character work than any other character. And you know how much we've actually got out of Crosshair? Not a lot. You know why, although also too, though, that we haven't actually had a lot from Crosshair? Is because the main story is Omega. You know, I can actually put this up against Invincible right now. You know, the amazing thing about Invincible, and especially once now I've gotten to the end of season 2 of Invincible, is the amount of character work that they do with all, you could say, the main characters of the story. Not just Invincible. You've got Eve. It gives her, and you know a lot about Eve. Even Invincible's gay friend, right? I can't remember his name now, but even Invincible's gay friend and his boyfriend that got chopped up by that scientist guy and put back together, and the storytelling that's going on there, quite incredible. And how that ties into Cecil's right-hand man. Fuck, I'm going blank on some of the names, but Cecil's right-hand man going through all the shit that he's going through. Rex Splode going through the shit that he's going through. Each character, you're not getting a heap of it with each character, but you get enough that gives you an investment into each individual character. Not just one character and then these other characters revolve around him and you don't know really anything about them. You know a lot about them. There's a twist to this, and this is a pretty big spoiler if you haven't seen it, so I'll give you a couple of seconds. But when Kate dies, and what happens to, what's his name? Fuck. Basically like the leader guy is the old guy that they put back together that, what's his name, killed originally. What he goes through when it's revealed that she's dead. Or once, like, you know, Immortal, that's the one. Thank you. Yeah, Immortal's reactions to that. We know really fuck all about Immortal. And yet when that situation happens, there's more to it than her just dying. I'll say that. I don't want to spoil it too much. But yeah, what Immortal goes through without really knowing much about him. That's the one thing that I will say is really, really actually good about Invincible, despite it being gory and despite the action being pretty cool, is the character work, the character development that they do with, again, not just Invincible. Man, at the end of season 2, what Invincible's going through in comparison to what his dad's going through, and how the shift. Oh man, I can't wait for season 3. This is the one time in Invincible's life, in Mark's life, where he could actually use his dad's advice, especially because how his dad is feeling right now. It's amazing. They almost switched personalities. Even the brain guy, the guy that can open the portals between dimensions, and what happens with him and Invincible, that storytelling is incredible. But yet in this, the Bad Batch, all we get is it all revolves around one character being amazing and really good at everything, right? We get no answers to any of the mystery box questions. And again, we're going into the final episode. They've opened up that many mystery boxes with this series that it probably would have been better to at least answer some of those mystery box questions in maybe the tail 4 end episodes of the season, of the entire thing. This is the finale. This is the final season of the Bad Batch. There's not a Bad Batch season 4. Although it wouldn't surprise me if then they were to go, oh, we're going to do a season 4 in the end. She's a Mary Sue. It's as simple as that. And you know what's really funny is that is basically that episode. That is that episode. Anyway. Oh, just wait until we get the Viltrumite War. I can't wait. I reckon those 2 seasons, like people were saying season 2 dropped off. I think the only reason why season 2 dropped off was because they put that hiatus in the middle. It's so stupid. I don't know why they would do that, and I don't know why they did do that. Because the tail end of season 2, I think, is great. And I know that there's a moment in there where people are going to be like, oh, it's going a little woke. No, I didn't see that scene that way. At all. At all. All right, let's do Seal of the Week. We don't have time to watch a video, so you guys are lucky we're not watching Doomcock's video. Because in less than half an hour, man, I might be... Star Wars Marvel Purist, if you're still in the chat, I might be a little bit late because I need to eat something before I come on. I'm dying of starvation right now. All right, let's do this.
Hello, the Jedi.
All right, here we go. Nominee number 1 is from Force Wave. Yes, another pronoun person, she, they. Says, Rey being a Palpatine by blood, but a Skywalker by choice is more thematically compelling than her being yet another random Force sensitive. I find it funny the way that they've worded that in regards to the fact of like by blood being a Palpatine, but by choice being a Skywalker, you know, almost like a bit of a trans allegory kind of thing. Sabine's story in Ahsoka is a better one. Is a better. Anyone can use anyone can use the Force story than what TLJ TLJ purists, I'm retarded, insist Rey's story should be. Sabine's story in Ahsoka is a better anyone can use the Force story than the TLJ purists, than what the TLJ purists insist Rey's story should be. It's a pretty hot take, man. Pretty retarded, though, too. So that's nominee number 1. Nominee number 2 is from Jenna. Says, the prequels, amazing. The OT, wonderful. The sequels, fantastic. Rogue One and Solo, fabulous. The shows, wizard. Star Wars is Star Wars is Star Wars. There's something to love about every single bit of it, and every show and film has something great to offer. I couldn't disagree more. Could not disagree more. And we've only got 3 today, but the last one, I was wondering why I was wondering why Jacob had disappeared from my timeline. And I found why. It's because Jacob blocked me. So Jacob's block gets nominee number 3 for Seal of the Week. And I'm a little bit sad by that because now I can't see the garbage stuff and I can't bring him up for nominations. I'm going to either have to set up a burner account so that I can check that out or do something else. But there you go. Find it like a badge of honor, but at the same time, like I'm shattered. I never followed him. And it must have been the last thing that I commented on. I quote tweeted one of his tweets. Anyway, let me put the poll in the chat. So, Seal of the Week. 1, 2, and 3. Poll is live. So nominee number 1, nominee number 2, and nominee number 3. So tempted. I might save it for a rainy day. But I want to watch what Mike sent to me, the explanation for how tracking fobs work. We'll do that next week. I might just do next week. We might just do the breakdown for Bad Batch because it's the season finale. So we're definitely got to do an episode breakdown, but also like a season breakdown and watch that video. And we'll just EFAP that video. We'll just do those 2 things. Depends on how long it is. Obviously, we'll do Seal of the Week as well, but yeah. All right. Let's take a look. 14 votes. Come on, let's get a couple more in there. How many we got watching? 35 people watching. We can get a couple more votes in there. Number 1. Number 2. This is the thing I hate with this. Like, all Star Wars is good Star Wars. I get that you want all Star Wars to be good, but unfortunately, it's just not the way that it is. It's not all good, and it doesn't all connect well. It doesn't do a good job of it at all. toxic positivity group of the fans are the worst. See, this is the thing, though, is a lot of the toxic positivity group fans, a lot of them aren't fans or haven't been fans for a long time. It's kind of like on Grizzy's on Grizzy's stream yesterday, we watched one of the shills. It was like a shill watch party sort of thing. And we watched one of them, and she's only been a fan of Star Wars for like a couple of years. Now, I'm not saying that you can't actually have new fans come in, but I don't think that these people are fans in the way that we are fans. These people like the shipping. These people, that's what fandom is to them. It's not about the lore and it's not about the canon, and they certainly don't care about the continuity of those things. But it is making sure that there's enough representation in these shows or movies. Making sure all of that does happen. And then, of course, Jacob with his blocking me. He's nominee number 3. Oh, we're up to 27 votes, and I'm surprised. I am a little surprised. Although they are all qualified to win. They're all qualified to win. 28 votes. Can we get 2 more? Can we at least hit the 30? We've got 33 people still here. If you haven't voted, 29. 1 more. Let's get it. Don't even care who you vote for, because that one vote won't make a difference to the. There we go. There we go. All right, we're going to end the poll. I'm going to end the poll here. Oh, we got 32 in the end. Beautiful. All right. Give me results. All right. So in last place was Force Wave with 18% of the vote. In second place with 34% of the vote was Jacob with his block of me. And in first place, and the winner of this week's Seal of the Week with 46% of the vote was Jenna, saying the prequels, amazing. The OT, wonderful. Wonderful? To say that the OT is wonderful, I don't know. I mean, it is wonderful, but like I could think I'd probably put amazing there more than wonderful. Anyway, the sequels, fantastic. Rogue One, Solo, fabulous. The shows, wizard. Star Wars is Star Wars is Star Wars. There's something to love about every single bit of it. And every show and film has something great to offer. Congratulations, Jenna. You are this week's Seal of the Week.
I'm all the Jedi.
And that is Casual Rage 170, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just looking for Star Wars Marvel Purists channel. Why can't I find you? Star Wars Marvel. Oh, I put a space there. Purist. Why doesn't that even come up? Where are you, Star Wars Marvel Purist? There, I'm just going to click on that. Thank you, Grant. Beautiful. I'm going to actually put the link directly to the stream in the chat. There we go. And one more time, just for good measure. All right, beautiful. Well, that's another Casual Rage, guys. Thank you all for being here. It's always a lot of fun. I'm going to go and eat, and then you can catch me over on Star Wars Marvel Purists channel. We're going to talk some Plagueis, and it should be a good one. We're going to have a lot of fun. Thank you to all the members and super chatters. Appreciate the above and beyond support. Thank you to all the people that are here in the chat, just hanging out, commenting, liking, sharing, and subscribing. You guys are all awesome. To all the lurkers that come in and rewatch the stream, you guys are awesome too. I appreciate you guys, and please do smash the like button. And we will see you next week for the season finale and the final, I guess, episode, the final thing from the Bad Batch. We'll have to wait and see. I don't think it's going to be good though. Bye, guys.
Put a ticket in and make her name it gay!
They came bounding over.
Fuck off! Disney! You fucking cunt! A few minutes? Are you kidding? At the rate they're gaining?
No, what is it? Do you have to shoot this? Traveling through hyperspace is like dusting crops, kid. Without precise calculations, we fly too close to a store. They're bounce into a supermarket and then...
Yeah.
It'd be a hell of a mess.
What's that?
Watch. You're losing your deflector shields. Go strap yourselves in. Be careful on the way out.
Yeah, sure. I'm taking very close.
You go away.
Bounce too near a supermarket?